So the second step in my process is to reflect. And I know that might sound similar to celebrating from last year, but it's different. When I think about reflecting about the previous year, I'm thinking about what did I learn about myself or about the world, or just what are some of the huge takeaways that I want to make sure don't get breezed over. I'm the type of person, I love reading or listening to audiobooks and podcasts, and I watch lots of like videos and online content and things like that. And so I'm constantly learning these little nuggets of wisdom and jotting them down on post-it notes and in journals and just all kinds of places. But to take that step back and just look like, bird's eye view, like, okay, all of this stuff has been hitting me all year long. Like, what stands out? What really is resonating with me that I want to make sure I hold on to, almost like an anchor as I move into the next year. And so I have some questions that I've asked myself in previous years, and I'm going to be honest that maybe someone watching this gave these questions to me, and I'm sorry if I don't remember who it was, but it's not something that I created. Either someone gave them to me or I found them online or whatever, but I just have some questions that I've asked myself, and they've generated some really good takeaways that, because I wrote them down, they stuck with me throughout the year, and I used them as building blocks for, the work that I was continuing to do on myself in the next year. So I'm going to share some of those with you just so that you can see where that reflecting process takes you. Like, you guys know what reflecting means, so I don't feel like I need to do a whole talk on what that means, but I thought it would be helpful to hear some of the things that I reflected on and took with me. So in 2019, one of the reflections that I did was just, I had two questions. Who positively impacted me in 2018? And I listed 4 different people. Like, there was one girl who I started following on Facebook, and she was a plant-based, she's not a nutritionist, but like, she does plant-based eating, and she has a whole series of like recipes that I could sign up for. So I started doing her monthly recipe subscription, and she does videos, and I was watching all of those, and she really helped me to transform my 2018 and transform my nutrition. So I don't know her, I've never met her, but this girl Molly, positively impacted me in 2018. I had Dustin, who was someone who started me on the career coaching journey, and he actually career coached me first. So doing some of those exercises, the visioning exercises and whatnot, like, really opened up for me who I am and who I want to be and what I want to, put into the world, etc. So that really transformed my 2018. So just thinking about go through your year and think about who were some of the transformative people, whether you know them or not, famous or not, or whatever, but jot those down. And then I wrote down, what lessons am I taking with me into 2019? And in 2019, I ended up doing, instead of those, I did a series of questions. It was 5 questions, and they were just sentence starters. Like, I'm proud of you for, you're exceptionally good at, I appreciate when you, something that can be hard for me to talk about is, and then the last was like a start, stop, continue, and just like, what are the things I want to start, stop, and continue. And then the other side of it was, I had, what were the biggest aha moments in 2019? And I wrote like a little thing about it. I want to share these with you because these are still the aha moments that I still meditate on, and I try to bring into, who I am trying to be in the world. So one was, the ultimate goal of life is not perfection. This was from a book that I was reading, and honestly, my mind was blown. I was like, wait, we aren't all striving to just try to be perfect. I thought that's what all of this was about. And obviously, like, that now seems like nonsense now, but just hearing that in that book really just shook my world. And I went on to write, life is about exploring and experiencing diversity amongst humanity. To be human is to be imperfect. So once we can free ourselves from the constant desire to chase perfection, we can finally embrace ourselves as we are and surrender to what is. So again, mine was blown, and it just has completely reoriented how I do life now. And I'm so glad that I had this moment where I decided to jot this down in my notebook so that I can continue to carry that learning with me. And then the last one, my big aha moment from 2019 was, self-confidence is not really a thing. Confidence comes from self-compassion. And so I said, we build confidence by trying to convince ourselves that we're good enough at something and worthy of approval, etc. But learning how to have self-compassion helps us to recognize that we all have flaws, and we give ourselves grace. And when we end up when we do that, when we give ourselves grace, then we end up showing up differently in the world. And the way which we show up with that grace for ourselves, that's actually self-confidence. That's actually confidence. That's what we see in people, and we're like, they're so confident. But it's the ones who have realized, like, oh, I'm just me, flaws and all, like, take it or leave it. That's confidence. It's not trying to like measure up, like, oh, I have this degree and I, look this way and I have these clothes or whatever. That's actually not confidence. That's, you trying to be someone else and impress other people. So again, maybe these are things you guys already knew, but they were new to me and totally rocked my world. And again, was just so happy that I took the time to reflect.